Hey everybody, Dr. Dane here from Wellness Solution Centers, and this month we're talking about know your 5 to stay alive. And the third key biometric, we've already talked about two, your hemoglobin A1C and your triglyceride to HDL ratio. Now what's the third? Well, the third has to do with this thing, and you guys probably know what this is. That is a blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope. And what we can do with that is we can determine the pressure in your blood vessels. And why is that important? Because when it's too high, we call that hypertension. And just like filling up a balloon with air, if you keep filling it up, what's going to happen? It's going to pop. And if it pops in your heart, we call that a heart attack. And if it pops in your brain, we call that a stroke. So one of the key biometrics you need to know is what is your blood pressure? Now, we talk about blood pressure being 120 over 80. And what does those numbers really mean? Well, 120 is when your heart contracts. 80 is when your heart relaxes. Right? So we really like to look at diastolic pressure because when your heart is in a relaxed state and you have a lot of pressure on the arterial walls in your blood vessels, that's not good. That's like a pipe that has way too much water flowing through it. And remember that your blood vessels are not like PVC pipe, right? You better hope they're not. They have to expand and contract. They're made of elastic tissue, right? So it's just like a balloon. That balloon expands, it contracts, but you don't want it expanded all the time too much, because it's under load and then it's going to break, right? So you should know your blood pressure. Second thing, your resting pulse. We take people's resting pulse as a matter of course in their new patient exam. Why? Because your heart's a pump. And the more your heart's working, the harder that pump is working. So if it takes you 84 beats a minute to do what my heart can do in 54 beats a minute, whose heart is going to last longer? Mine is, because yours is under a lot more stress. So knowing your resting pulse is a sign of cardiovascular efficiency. How strong is that pump? How well is that pump working? You want a low resting pulse. So as you age, your pulse is going to go up just a little bit, but if you can keep that resting pulse under 72 beats per minute, I like to see it around between 60 and 65 beats per minute for most people. Athletes are going to have a little bit lower than that, but you want to keep your resting pulse certainly under 72 beats per minute and ideally between 60 and 65. And for your blood pressure, obviously you want to keep that under 120 or 80 or below. And again, as you age, those numbers are going to creep up just a little bit normally, but we like to see those numbers 120 or 80 or below. The lower, the better, within reason. Some medications will lower blood pressure, and it's not great to have low blood pressure either. You're going to be passing out and getting dizzy. So this is Dr. Dane with your health tip of the week. Please connect with us on our social media pages and learn more about what we do here at Wellness Solution Centers.